Hey guys, this is Issues with Toddy One Skip. I am Toddy One Skip. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. And you're not Toddy One Skip. Guys, please like, subscribe, and share. There is so much going on. So I was on Uncorked with Brandy last night, and I'm so glad that I was able to get on and that it went as nicely as it did because not that we were being mean to each other, but Brandy and I were not speaking the same language. We had been emailing each other, and I thought, well, let me give a try and see if we can bridge the gap. And I feel like we did. We don't have to agree on everything. We could be on opposite sides of things, but it's important to communicate. Even if we disagree, it's important to communicate because people have feelings and they're valid. They're valid feelings. I think in order to live in this world and be the best person we can be, we have to kind of acknowledge the things that are important to other people because we want them to acknowledge the things that are important to us. And in order to understand people, I think that we have to know what's important to them, right? I mean, that's what I think. Don't get me wrong, guys. There are days when I give up on the world and absolutely think that humanity is FUCK. Definitely. But then there are days that I see hope and I'm grateful for that. So when there can be communication and healthy communication, I think that that's something that's always I always want that. I always want that. That being said, there are times when you can't communicate. There are times when people tell untruths so much so that it's like, I don't even want to spend my time communicating because then I got to spend double the time figuring out what's true and what's not true. And that's just way too much work. So I don't want to do that. And I don't, when I know that somebody's just there to push buttons on me and have me react, that's when I kind of push myself away and say, I'm not that curious. I'm not that. I don't need to handle it that way. I can pull myself back and kind of do what I got to do and maybe not go that route, but find another route to go because I'm not going to be somebody's puppet. I'm not going to let somebody make me react a certain way, So, I have my boundaries. But this was very good. I felt like this was a good thing. So I'm glad that we were able to do that. Guys, I've had a few of you say, and I'm just gonna bring this up one time because I don't know what to say. It's discouraging, it's disheartening. Sometimes I think it's rude. But a few of you have been like, "Oh, Toddy, you fell into the gossip. You fell into the." Okay. But I don't consider that gossip. The most gossip I think that I've put on my channel, to be honest with you, is the laptop situation because it's a laptop. But it was a serious situation to other people. To other people, it mattered. It mattered to Sarah. That was a really important thing that Sarah felt she was falsely accused of, and she wanted to clear her name. Now, to us, that might be gossip, but to Sarah, that was about clearing her name. That's not gossip. So, as far as the fancy situation goes, and what's been going on with her and how she's been involved far more than, I'm going to speak for me, far more than I can imagine. Guys, do you know how many people emailed me and told me that how Sarah felt so beat down and worn out and exhausted, that is Fancy's MO. And we have seen that in desperate attempts even lately with this Dawn Boker situation, right? About how Fancy could just be so diabolical and so ruthless and soulless. That's not gossip. When somebody is afraid to speak out and somebody is squashing them, why would anybody want that to continue on? That to me would be the gossip. Well, let's allow it to go on and let's watch this. How about we try to call it out and stop it? Now, we've seen Fancy, and now we've seen behind the scenes of Fancy. How many of us are really surprised? I was just surprised, honestly, about how bad it would get, or how low somebody would go, or how deviant somebody really is. But then again, I worked in corrections, so I know that there are people like that. But they're exposed now. And that's important. That's important when it comes to people's words here and who's credible and who's not credible. Especially in the situation of who exactly was behind the Dawn Boker situation. So credibility is a really important thing. I don't think that that's gossip. I don't think that that's gossip. And somebody who is a bully and trying to manipulate the scenes from behind the scenes because they think that they're a master manipulator, yeah, I think exposing them is more important. I don't think that's gossip. I also got a lot of be careful, stay safe, and you don't know what Fancy or Gypsy or the Blanchards are capable of. I've heard all of that, and that's another reason why I have continued to go to the police and show things as they come up, because I am protecting myself. So, I just want you guys to know I hear what you're saying. It doesn't fall on deaf ears. I promise. I just can't show everybody my cards. But thank you. I don't really know how to explain it so well, guys, but I worked with the inmates, side by side with the inmates. I taught them how to do commissary orders. I taught them how to cook. I taught them how to clean. I worked side by side with them. They're people. They talk, right? So there were some inmates that I became friendly with. You guys know that my ex was an inmate. Now, Jen and I didn't work side by side to each other. We met through a pane of glass. You could see that story. And Jen's not here anymore. So I think that some of the things that I do when it comes to being fair to inmates has to do with Jen. It has to do with my dad. It has to do with the fact that I worked in, the correctional facilities, and that I was a drugs counselor in a juvenile center. Guys, I believe in second chances. Let me tell you, the number one job of a correctional officer inside of the facility is to ensure the safety of the prisoners. That's their number one job. That's just the way it is. So when somebody goes into a facility or writes to somebody or manipulates somebody, we see this stuff on the news all the time about, we saw it with Diddy, right? Like that he was manipulating people to change people's minds about things and this and that. We see it all the time. The trial with Adelson, right? The same thing where the woman was on the phone trying to manipulate a situation on the outside. It's not okay coming in on the inside either. Now, that's not gossip. That's really screwing around with the justice system and manipulating the justice system. Guys, I don't know who was involved besides Fancy in the Dawn situation, the Dawn Boker situation, the Nick infiltration group. I've already put out a video about it. I'm going to go ahead and put all of the stuff out about it. But that's not up to me to decide who's involved or who's not involved. But knowing that that's not right and that that's illegal, and look at where Nick's at, yeah, I went to the cops with this. Absolutely, I did. And then I went to some people that I've known for over 30 years that are higher up in positions because they stayed in that field, right? I'm not the one that's going to investigate who, what, where, and how, but I certainly made sure that they had all the information so that they could do that. You think that's gossip? Because I think that's responsibility. Because if it was my family in there, I'd do the same thing. And if it was your family in there, I would hope that you would do the same thing. You guys have seen video of Nick being some gawky, nerdy kid playing air guitar, trying to turn people on to the music that he liked, gaming. I have always thought, since I've realized what happened with this case, that Nick's mitigating circumstances needed to be considered, just like Gypsy's fake mitigating circumstances were considered. What the judge or jury or governor or what people do with that, that's not on me. I just want it to be fair. I can't even make it fair, but I can bring it to the point that I can bring it to as much as I can so that there is a fairness here. And that's what I did. And those of you that think that that's gossip, okay. Okay. Those of you that don't agree, I can't imagine why you wouldn't agree with something that is unfair and unjust. So that's where I am with it. And we're going to have another snowstorm. And I have some sort of cold or flu. I don't know. But anyway, guys, I just wanted to share with you what's going on. And yeah. And there's stuff going on in the Scientology world as well. But it's got to take second seat to this. So, all right, guys, don't forget. And let me tell you something else. I have gotten so much support and love and screenshots from you guys that I don't feel alone out here doing this. I don't. So the 95% of you that are like there with your support, there with your letters, there with your screenshots, please know that it's not going unappreciated because I appreciate it. So stop making me cry. Guys, be better today than you were yesterday. You are. Thank you.